uh, recording in progress. Let me just hit this and say, got it. My other one, got it. Okay. But thank you all for being here. And I'm going to share today how to build a power bowl. Some call it Buddha bowl, some call it Nourish bowls. It is my favorite way to eat because on a single bowl like this, and your bowl can be big too. These are, on the tiny side, but it's like an all-in-one meal. And you just kind of pile on all your favorites. And Lynn mentioned, you don't have to take notes. Like literally you don't, because it would be your preference, whatever you like. But I would just want to go through with you guys the components of a power bowl or a Nourish bowl or / Buddha bowl. So I had a link emailed to you guys, and I have a little PDF right here that I will go through, and it's the same thing that's on the website. But basically, what is a power bowl, right? So first you have, well, let me backtrack and say, in my years of kind of exploring how to fuel ourselves properly, because I had battled with autoimmune back in 2017, and I really used nutrition to help me get back into my healthy self. And that really moved the needle for me. And for those that have been to my class, you know my story. I really didn't want to use medication. So I used food as medicine. And that's kind of what I have been doing, is just researching anything and everything about keeping myself healthy and not going back to all the side effects or the symptoms and the bad stuff that happens as it relates to somebody having autoimmune. And food was really my biggest helper. I lost so much pounds, my skin cleared up, I'm no longer exhausted. So, and my eczema went away, psoriasis, and all that stuff. My joints are feeling better. I don't have insomnia and all that stuff. And yes, food was a big part of it all. Then I discovered Power Bowl. I didn't know how to cook. My husband is trained to be a chef, but he knows to do French cuisine, which was not so good actually for me because it was a ton of butter and it wasn't such a balanced plate, right? And this is where the Power Bowl comes in for me because it makes it really balanced. From what I learned from years of just researching is a healthy balanced meal comprises of good source of carbs. And when I say carbs, it doesn't mean you have to load it with pasta and bread. Let's concentrate more on your complex carbs, the ones that are harder for takes more work for your digestive system to break down. It means you're upping your metabolism. And carbs doesn't only mean pasta, rice, bread. Carbs is also vegetables. So I get most of my carbs from vegetables, mostly like root vegetables, because they're more filling, like the starchy ones. So you have your healthy carbs, and then you also have to pack in your produce. And this is where you have all sorts of vegetables in there, because that's where you get your fiber. So healthy sources of carbs, good fiber, and good fats, like healthy fats, and also protein. I don't know if there's some that are vegetarian or vegan here. There are also like plant-based sources of protein, but pretty much that kind of should, what your plate should look like is those components. And if you have all of those, then it will really help boost, you have energy. It's the kind of bowl that when you eat, you don't feel sleepy and tired after. Because that's what I noticed before. That's how I ate. When I ate something after that, like I get so sleepy. Food is supposed to give you energy. It's not supposed to make you sleepy. If it makes you feel sleepy and tired, then there's something not good on that plate, because that is your body's reaction, and it's not a good reaction. So that's my bit on what a good plate is. So let me go through and give you examples of how to build a power bowl. So based on that link that I sent you, so first you have to choose your base. Your base could be any greens. I actually just picked these from my garden. So if any of you also plant, lettuces are so easy. You just throw your seeds and they grow, and then you get all of these and you can cut them every day. So you choose your base, either whatever leafy greens, arugula, beet greens are good, chard, kale, all types of lettuces. And so here's the tip. To make it easy for those that have busy lives like me, you can purchase them pre-washed. I do that for the romaines and like spinach. So you can just buy them pre-washed. Some of them already chopped so that it's easy access for you. And then after you choose your base, then you can add your fiber-packed carbohydrates. It could be anywhere from a 1/4 cup to 1 cup of whole grains or complex carbs. You can do barley, brown rice, farro, quinoa, sorghum, wheat berries, whatever your source of whole grain that you like, that's in that category. And then we have the complex carbs, like I mentioned. You have your beets, squash, butternut squash, sweet potatoes. One tip, and you kind of see it over here, is you can batch cook all of these. If you like them roasted, like this is what I did yesterday. Usually on a weekend I do that. I always have, my kids love sweet potato fries, so I always have sweet potato fries. This is Brussels sprouts. I also actually roasted some radishes. I grow radishes in my little garden too. I roasted some broccoli, some French green beans, and I have beets right here, which I typically put in my Instant Pot. It's faster and easier to steam them in the Instant Pot. But if you don't have time, and because it's hot, you don't want to turn on your oven, you can buy them pre-packed too. Like, they're in the frozen aisle. Trader Joe's has loads of these things that are already flavored. So just put them in your freezer and then pop them and reheat them when you need to eat. So yeah, you can also have, then after your fiber-packed carbs, you have your produce, right? And some of your sources of carbs is also your produce, and I mentioned some of them. There's also your carrots, cauliflower, cucumber, eggplants, mushrooms, tomatoes, peppers, zucchini. Here, I don't know if you see it, like behind me, I actually just went to the grocery, so I'm always stocked with these produce items. This is what I always buy. I have tomatoes, lemon lime, bell peppers, Brussels sprouts, zucchini, carrots, shredded green and red cabbage. See, this is from Trader Joe's, and it's already packed. It's shredded green and red cabbage with some carrots. So it makes life easy. Just open it and pop in your bowl. I have some avocados in there, cucumber, but it's the typical things you see in your produce aisle. So it's a no-brainer. Whatever you always like to eat within the season when they change. Then next is your protein. Protein could be yogurt, it could be your cheese, fish, shrimp, salmon, like any seafood. And your meats, if you eat meat like I do, it's your chicken, your beef, your turkey. If you're vegetarian, again, sources of protein are beans, chickpeas, black beans, lentils. You can also have tofu, tempeh, edamame. Those are good sources of protein. Then you have your healthy fats. That's the last category. Healthy fats could be your avocado, some nuts, olives, seeds, tahini or any nut butter, olive oil, avocado oil, sesame oil. And then you have your dressings. And I'll share with you a few of my favorites as I demonstrate some favorite bowls. But that kind of pretty much what a power bowl is. Those are the different categories of food. And if it's feeling overwhelming, if you just write it down on a piece of paper and kind of write down on each category the ones that you like to eat, then it makes the grocery shopping and meal prepping easier for you because you kind of just tick off the box. And I mentioned to you what I typically buy and have stock. So that's for me. All right. Now, I didn't really plan this well, the Power Bowl, because like I said, it's kind of like anything goes. It depends on what I have left over, and it depends on what I have in stock in my fridge and the produce that I bought. So I guess that goes to show that this is pretty easy going. As long as you just keep in mind those different categories. So why don't we start with a typical Power Bowl breakfast that I like to eat. As they say, you know, if you're nourished in the morning, then it kind of sets the tone for your day. So let me grab a few lettuces. So these are the ones that I grew from my garden. I don't even know their names, but they're different kinds of lettuces. And I just mix and match them. Okay, you can chop them if you want, but sometimes I don't even have time. I just throw everything in there. As some of you know who've been to my classes, I am primarily paleo. That's the way I eat, which means I'm dairy-free, gluten-free, grain-free. Some of the sources of carbs like quinoa, brown rice, barley that I mentioned before, I don't tolerate those well. Even chickpeas, I don't. However, if you tolerate those well, those would be good. That would be a good base. But for me, for what my body needs and for what my body responds to well, my base is always just a base of greens. Kale, romaine lettuce, whatever. So, but you guys can mix in your quinoas and all of that, and that's perfect as well. And then, because it's breakfast, I love my eggs. So I can actually put in, so that's my, my base, right? And then then I can put in my egg here. And this is just a simple scrambled egg. You can put in an egg with other things like mushroom, or if you want some, you know, season it with other stuff, you want like onions or whatever in there, but this was just a plain one. But I typically add nutritional yeast. A lot of vegetarians love nutritional yeast because it's a good source of B vitamins, because you get B vitamins from protein, but if you don't, animal protein, if you don't eat much of it, then nutritional yeast is a good source of it. So, and it gives you kind of like a cheesy flavor without using cheese, because I'm dairy free. So that one. And then what else would I want here? Because I want this light for in the morning, I would slice up some cucumber. So I just slice them up like cucumber coins. That's what my kids say, cucumber coins. So I put them in there. More. And then what else? Radish. Radish would actually be good with this one. This I just got this from my garden too. Another easy one to grow. And like I always say, it's good that you're eating the rainbow, meaning you're covering different colors in your plate. The more colorful your plate is, it means the more vitamins and minerals you are getting. So here, I'm just layering on my produce here. So that's a radish. And then what else would be good for this? I'm looking at what I have right now. Actually, I would like some broccoli. No, I already have a ton of greens. So maybe, you know what, sweet potato fries. I've made sweet potato omelet and they're pretty good. And I love sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna put some sweet potatoes in here. But it's really just lining up all and layering up everything. So I have my base, I have some fiber packed carbohydrates, which is my sweet potatoes. And then I have a ton of produce in here. And then my protein is my egg. And then now for my healthy fats, avocado. I love avocado. So I'm gonna slice up this avocado. Slice here. I should have pre-cut this to make it faster, but it's okay. Let me just grab a spoon. Okay, let's see. Make it half of this. Okay. And we're gonna put it over here. Just like that. Now that you have that, to have more flavor in here, you need some sort of dressing. You can also put like different dips, you know, you can put hummus, roasted red bell pepper hummus, I think would be amazing here, a dollop of that. But I think for this one, I'm just gonna use like a balsamic vinaigrette. So this is a favorite, Primal Kitchen is the brand. ShopRite has them. I like this brand is because they only use avocado oil. Again, those that have followed me in my classes, I've told everybody that I stay away from canola oil and vegetable oil because they are so highly processed that they're not really good for you, no matter if they say it's heart healthy. If you do read the research, it actually isn't. So a healthier alternative is avocado oil. So you will, and canola oil and all of that kind of oil is like rampant everywhere because it's cheap. So they use that. But so this dressing, and these dressings are not that expensive, but they use avocado oil and they have very clean ingredients. So Primal Kitchen is my go-to for dressings. And for those of you that make your own dressing, so much better. You can make your own dressing by just, you know, using olive oil, salt and pepper. You can put some apple cider vinegar and some lemon, and then you can have, you know, a very nice dressing. So I kind of just pour my dressing in here. And then you also want to top it with something kind of crunchy. Some put nuts and seeds. You can put like pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are a real good source of zinc. So especially everybody was like doing zinc supplements when COVID hit, but you know, pumpkin seeds are very high in zinc. So you can spread that here, but I do also like to use this. It's called Everything But the Bagel seasoning blend. I get it from Trader Joe's too, and it's like some sesame seeds, some garlic, and poppy seeds and other things, garlic, some things that I can't read because I don't have my glasses right now. But I just put it on the top, just like that. And then, actually, yes, I will put a little bit of hummus in this one. And then you just put a little dollop of your hummus. And there you go. This is like a really nice balanced breakfast. You know, it's got a ton of vitamins and minerals and nutrients. This is the kind of food that's not going to make you sleepy. you know, versus having bread, like a piece of toast, and call it a day. Toast and coffee. It's not gonna last you for very long. But this one is very light. You know, it's not heavy, it doesn't give you a heavy feeling, but you do get very energized. And like I said, eat the rainbow, guys. As the more colorful your plate is, the happier your body will be. So that's, you know, like a breakfast that I typically make for myself when I have the time. Okay, and what else? What leftovers do I have to? Oh, I have this salmon left over. Okay, wait, my husband is calling me. Why? Why are you calling me? So, video, is that what I do? Okay, there I'm back. Okay, that's breakfast. We'll put it right here. Okay, let's try another thing. So when I mentioned doing batch cooking, right? Let's say you also made, like, you know, a chicken dish and you have leftover chicken. That could be your protein. You can just shred the chicken and that could be your protein. So I'm just working with some leftovers that I have. Actually, before I do that, let me work on this one first. This is a ground beef dish leftover that I have. It's pretty much just ground beef and I just mix some broccoli slaw in it. And this in itself has a ton of vegetables already, and I usually eat this with lettuce, you know, like Asian lettuce wraps, if you guys are familiar with that. But basically it's just ground beef with some seasoning, some broccoli slaw in it, and mushrooms, and then I usually just put it on a lettuce and eat it that way. But I can actually use this as my protein and make like a heftier, more nutrient dense lunch. So again, I start with my base. I grab a couple more lettuce. And same deal, for those that tolerate whole grains, you can use buckwheat, barley as your base. Okay, let's chop these up. Now I'm thinking right now, just with what I have, maybe I can do something like a sort of like a deconstructed taco. I don't know, we'll see. Because then I have my lettuce like you have for your taco. And then actually I would grab bell peppers. So going again with sort of like a Mexican theme. So these are just raw bell peppers. These are also great roasted. If you don't tolerate raw that much, I would suggest roasting them or even just like stir frying them. But raw is perfectly fine and also fast. So I have a yellow bell pepper, and I'm also gonna cut up a red bell pepper. Even if it's the same vegetable, but because it's a different color, you do get different nutrients and minerals because the color is different. A red bell pepper has a lot more vitamin C in it than the yellow one. So, okay, here's my red one. Let's put it on the opposite side. And then I'm gonna spoon my ground beef with, and the ground beef already has some broccoli slaw in it too. The good thing about this too is, like, because you're layering it this way, your portions of the food, it's not going to be like meat heavy. Like my dish usually was meat heavy and very little of the produce. But now it's the opposite, which is actually better. You need to have in your plate more of the vegetable than your meat. Okay, what else is missing here? Here, I have some corn. These, especially now when you're doing barbecues, you might have like leftover corn. So just get your leftover, slice up a little bit, put it here. What else would be nice here for this? Oh, of course. We can do another spoon. Another avocado, because it's a deconstructed, it's a Mexican inspired power bowl. So you have your avocado in there. And then for my dressing, I could top this with some sour cream. Just scoop up a sour cream. And you can also have multiple of the dips. You can have sour cream on one side and maybe another thing on the other side. That's that. And then again, you can choose to top it with whatever nuts and seeds that you have. I also typically keep this, I mix some flaxseed meal that's ground up, chia seeds, and hemp hearts. All of those are really good sources of fiber and protein and just your healthy omegas, you know, things that you would get from a fish oil, but you also get it from these seeds. I kind of do, this is an empty spice, like this used to be cinnamon in here, but I do like 1/3 flaxseed meal, 1/3 chia, and 1/3 hemp hearts, and I just mix it all up. And then we kind of just sprinkle this everywhere. My kids put it in their cereal, so there's a little bit more nutrition in there. You put it on your smoothie, and you can also put it, sprinkle on your protein bowl. So again, these are just really good seeds. They taste like nothing, but the nutrient factor is really, really good. And I have this ground beef. I really love it with a barbecue sauce. So this is a sriracha and roasted garlic barbecue sauce, again from Trader Joe's. I swear I don't work there, but there's just stuff there that I like. But it could be any barbecue sauce that you like. And I'm just gonna put it on the top. And that's my other dish from just like leftover stuff and things from your produce. So this is like a Mexican inspired one. Let's put it over here. And then what else do I have? Let's see. So my son loves salmon. So I have this one. I'm actually making this so he can eat it for dinner. Though he loves rice and I can have rice, so I could put as his base some rice. I don't know where my rice is, but you can have rice for your base. But for now, let's put just some lettuces again. Okay. But you guys can see how It's very easy as long as you have some produce laying around your house, some protein, some whole grains, healthy fats, nuts and seeds. You'll be able to whip this up very easily. You just got home from work. But yeah, some of the trick is, like batch cooking some of them, steaming, roasting, what have you, or if you don't have time, they can be raw, like I just did the bell peppers. Okay, so I have again my base of greens. And then I think for this one, this would be nice with some broccoli. I roasted this broccoli. I just put some paprika, olive oil, and salt and pepper. Okay, we got a good amount of broccoli in there. And then, oh, this would be like all greens. I've been talking about the rainbow, but this, I have some French green beans that I also roasted here. This could be like a green bowl, which is good. And Brussels sprouts actually would be good for this one. Roasted Brussels sprouts, again, it's just olive oil and some salt and pepper. And when I'm done with that, when I take it out of the oven, I put some balsamic vinegar on it, and also some you can put some grated Parmesan cheese while it's hot, and then it will just melt into it. So that's makes it very tasty. Oh, here, we can put some beets. So we can have some color in it. Just slice up the beets. Okay, put some beets right here. And again, a tip because beets are pretty hard. So I've been putting them in the Instant Pot. I forget for how many minutes, but if you Google it, it will come out. I don't know if it's just like 3 minutes. You put it with skin and everything, but you chop off the greens. You put it in the Instant Pot for just pressure cook it for a few minutes, and when it's done and it's cooled down a bit, it's easier to peel it. Like the skin just comes off, like you're peeling like hard-boiled egg. So that's one quick and easy way to prepare beets. And then you can just put some balsamic vinegar again, or you can just have it plain. Now let's actually I can put the roasted radishes in here too. So let's move this green beans. I'm gonna put some roasted radishes. So once I usually use the radishes just fresh, like raw, but a friend of mine told me to start roasting them because I've been growing a ton of them. I don't know what to do with it. So try roasting them, and it's gonna be like a different flavor profile. Like it's less peppery. So it's another way of preparing it. Okay, and what else would look nice here? Why not more sweet potatoes? Sweet potato here. And then I'm gonna grab a really good, okay, let's get this. I'm gonna put it in the middle. And I also have some mushrooms that I roasted together with the rest of the vegetables. And let's see. This is a fig balsamic dressing. And again, just put it on top. And voila, this is a, maybe let's push the mushrooms to the side so you kind of see the salmon. But here's another power bowl using seafood and just tons of produce. Could be lunch, could be dinner. That's another seafood one. At this point, any questions? Is everybody good? Because I do have another left over here, which is sausage. But I think at this point, you guys do kind of get the gist of it. It's just combining different things that you like into a bowl. And then you just get, once you start eating them, it just gives you this like mouthful flavor explosion in your mouth. And then you get all just, it's a very nutrient dense bowl, and sky's the limit and the combinations. Like I said, this is a breakfast theme one. This is sort of like a take on a Mexican theme. And this is, I don't even know what this is, but it's a salmon bowl. You can do a Mediterranean kind of theme bowl, you know, if you have some olives in there, some roasted red bell peppers. And so it's so many things that you can do. And I hope this inspires you guys to create your own power bowls, to venture into doing it, and versus having just like 3 components of food on your plate, or a plate that typically is very beige. This is really a good way of getting all, you know, eating the rainbow and getting all different colors, eating most of what you see on the produce aisles. And yeah, and then like I said, the only thing is, you know, you can dedicate one day to just plan and roast what you need to roast, chop them all up, or steam what you need to steam. But once you have all of these cut up and roasted and steamed in your fridge, once you get home, then you kind of just are able to pull things together and make something. And then, yeah.
So Christina, do you make individual bowls for your family members? So in other words, would you make the taco one for everybody in your family and make maybe one big bowl and they can all dig in, or you make individual taco bowls, but maybe Zoe doesn't want a taco bowl, you make an egg bowl. So how do you serve it?
Because every person is so different.
Right.
So that's what's nice about this is it's like, okay, whatever you want, you put in yours, and that's what you eat. Like not everybody has to eat the same thing, but at least you have those different components, and they're able, you know, that they might put some cheese on the taco bowl, but I can't have the cheese, right? So it lends itself to just, it's like your own buffet.
So you're making your own dinner there, and you lay out everything, and then you go do your own thing.
Yeah. There are a few places, like my favorite place to go to that makes this is Cava. Unfortunately, the closest one to us is in Paramus. It's at the Bergen Mall, but it's like a Mediterranean fast casual. It's almost like a Chipotle, but they're so much better than a Chipotle because their ingredients are just so much fresher. But it's kind of the same thing, you know, they make you choose a base, they make you choose your protein, they make you choose what dressing you want on it. So Cava, CAVA, I've been writing to them and telling them they should come to Rockland. I don't know why they don't want to come to Rockland, but it's a really, really nice place to eat, and they do their power bowls so well. There's another place in Montvale, it's called Eons, EONS. So it's kind of like same thing. However, they don't have as much selection on, on the sides like Kava does. So it's easy to get tired of it. It's almost like the same thing over and over, but it's sort of same concept. You can go there and then they ask you for your base and the other components to put in it. So it's sort of like individualized based on your preference, but at least all your choices are very abundant in nutrition.
Nice way to eat light for the summer, healthy and light.
Yes, definitely. And like I said, when I eat this way, I don't feel sluggish after. I don't feel sleepy, which that was what I was before. Every time I was at a party and after eating something, it's like I just want to go to sleep. But with this way of eating, this kind of food, this kind of balance plate or balance bowl, I don't get that sleepy feeling and heavy feeling. It's just like energizing.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Cristina?
I do.
Oh.
It's Gail.
Oh, hey, Gail.
I put this in the chat. I was thinking maybe you can have a party and then everybody can make their own.
That's a good idea. Yes, definitely. Yeah, make your own power bowl. Yeah. That's a good that's actually
Power bowl party.
Powerful party.
it's a 4th of July party, right?
There you go. And you could do a dessert too, a dessert bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining in. Really appreciate seeing you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cristina.
Well,
Thank you, Cristina. That was excellent.
Thank you.
And I'm going to stop recording. Hold on.